I am in a beautiful campground and I'm going to try something new. I have a carving kit that I picked up from Woodcraft. I actually picked up 3 different ones. I picked up this bird, and then I also picked up a wizard and a Santa Claus. And these are complete kits. I also picked up these carving gloves because I don't think I like the idea of putting tape on my fingers. Alright, I have glued the pattern onto the piece of wood. Look behind me. Where are you? There you are. A deer just walked up. Isn't that cool? So anyways, I glued the pattern on, and there's a pattern for either side. This side, and obviously the other side, which points the other direction. And the idea is that I need to carve away the material up to the outside lines. And then once that is carved away, then I will glue another pattern on the top that will determine the width. The manual doesn't go into great detail on how to do this. It says cover your fingers with the tape and all that, but it doesn't go into detail on how to do the carving. See, I mean, here's step 1. Go ahead and cut the wood following the lines, right? And step 2, look, we've got this carving worthy of the Smithsonian Museum. So it doesn't really go into techniques. Now, I've found so far, just by experimentation, two different cuts. I'm sure there's people who do carving for their vocation or their hobby would either disagree or say there's thousands of cuts. But what I've found from my experimentation thus far is you can cut and use your thumb as a pivot, right? And you can take a little divot out. And that seems to be good for kind of hogging away material. It seems to be getting the job done and relatively little effort, and it's not that terrible hard to do. But it leaves a very faceted surface. I'm sure if you get good at it, you can make a smooth surface. The other cut I've noticed so far is if you were to pull towards your thumb like this, you kind of, after you get rid of all those facets, you start working and getting a smoother cut. Okay, now this is just me fooling around experimenting. I don't know if this is correct or not. And look at there, just did a little slice. So I don't know if this is correct or not, but it seems to be what's working for me. The tape seems to help quite a bit. However, I've pretty much worn where I'm going to have a blister later on my thumb, even with the tape. And this seems to be just standard compression tape that you can get in the pharmacy. I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's anything special. It looks like the same exact stuff they give me whenever I donate blood. So, but I nearly have the back done. All right, so now I have completed shaping the rough shape. I'm going to try to round over the top a little bit, and then on the bottom I'm going to round it over a lot, and kind of like bring the tail to a point after rounding, mostly from the rounding of the top, I think. And we'll just fart around with it, and you know, it doesn't have to look exactly like the bird on the front of the pamphlet. It can look any way I choose to make it look. So it's coming along nicely. Right now I'm sort of just whittling away just a little bit at a time. It's kind of easier to cut where there's a facet. So as I'm whittling down the shape, I'm looking for where the facet is from the last cut to ensure that I'm making the easiest cut possible. This is my very first carving, so like this at least, not using power tools. So if you're interested in doing this, find somebody who actually knows how to do this and ignore pretty much all my lessons. But this is coming, the back of this bird is looking like the back of a bird to me, at least. Look at that. That's not half bad. I'm having a little bit of a difficult time right here with the head area. The grain is getting a little weird. And just like in any woodworking effort, you got to concern yourself with the grain of the direction of the grain, and I'm having a hard time. I can't go this way because it's tearing out real bad, but I don't know. It's just I'm having. Once again, I'm learning, so I don't know if I mentioned that before. But like right there, I just did a little bit of a tear out right there. This hunk of wood, the grain was mostly going this way, right? And then right at the head, I guess I didn't really pay attention. The grain just makes a little bit of a turn, so I got to be careful on how I shape the head here. I get a little too confident and all of a sudden, bonk, a big old chunk comes off that didn't need to come off. Let's see here. There you go. Look at that. That looks good. And from this angle, tweet, 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 rockin' Robin, rockin' Robin. I'm really actually kind of pleased the way this has come out. Now, the instructions say the next step is to hit it with sandpaper and smooth it out until it is beautiful and smooth. I have to decide on that still, because I kind of like the faceted look here, but since this is my first, maybe the trick is to just do it the right way and modify it to the way I want it on the next one. Sort of like cooking. Follow the recipe the first time you make the recipe, and then you determine how you're going to modify it in the future. Alright, so I have now sanded to 80 grit. I didn't do a perfect job at sanding. I might just consider doing a little bit more in a little bit, but who enjoys sanding? I know I don't. And I've got 4 more grits to go through. You know, if I wanted perfect, I would have bought this at a store, so this might be good enough for me. We'll see. What we're gonna do is, they say to use this wax as a final finish, and I'm assuming it goes on just like every other wax, is that you just apply it thick. There we go. Let's wait 30 minutes and then we'll buff out the wax. We'll see how this wild beast looks in the end. On the second bird, I have decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to hog out all the major pieces, like here, here, and here, and here. And then once that is done, then I'm going to use carving techniques to refine the bird. So this is I have done the tail area, and that's because I have 2 points of contact right here, the very tip of the tail and the chest of the bird. However, I'm not going to have a point of contact when I do the beak. So what I'm going to do is, as I cut, I'm going to push down really hard on the tail, and I'm going to make sure I keep my fingers as far away from the blade as possible, and then I'm going to cut. If I were to come in this direction, the blade is going to yank this down like this. But if I come in from this direction, when I'm starting, there's going to be a point of contact, then I think it's going to be all right. And I've done this kind of cut before and I didn't have a problem, so I'm going to give that a shot. I'm working on the second bird, and I've now finished the back, or it seems finished right now. And now I'm going to work on the belly. Now, one thing I'm thinking is that I might very well leave this back rough. My wife thinks it looks like feathers, and I have to kind of agree with her. So one thing I have discovered is this board is a lot harder than the other one that I was working on, and I've been having a tough time with it. And what I've been trying to do is cuts like this, where I'm just digging in, and sometimes it works out all right. But what I have discovered is when I'm hitting a tough spot, if I if I go ahead and, like I'm cutting a steak, and slide the knife, it makes it easier. What is really interesting as a non-carver type person, what I'm discovering is you get to a point where you say, wow, this looks fantastic. And then you work a little bit more and you say, you know, I need to knock off some right here. And then you knock a little bit more off, and then you knock a little bit more off. And you get to the realization that, yeah, well, that wasn't that fantastic after all. You know, you're just gonna keep carving, and then you're gonna realize when you've hit your point where it's as nice as it's gonna be. I know it's an interesting concept and foray into something new for me. I'm not really sure if this is my thing. When I bought this kit, I bought a total of 3 kits. This one of the bird, it's called a comfort bird, and then I bought a Santa Claus and an elf. This is a interesting foray into something that I don't normally do. These 2 birds do look good. I like them a lot. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Good. Finally, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10. Good job.